Welcome back to my Darling Bride podcast. On this podcast, we dig, discover, and deploy biblical gems for the building or rebuilding of kingdom homes and relationships.
Yes, we are on a mission to equip couples on how to build on a rock-solid foundation, cultivate a culture of honor and respect, invest intentionally and consistently in their marriage or relationship, defend their union, and lastly, empower one another towards purpose fulfillment.
Absolutely. This is where love meets legacy, and like we like to say, this is where real love meets real talk. We've got a good one for you on today. Let's get it. All right, so the topic of discussion on today is why am I struggling to express myself? Why do I find it difficult in my marriage to express myself? And this is a very valid question because, you know, in the context of marriage, it's supposed to be your safe space.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be the one place that you should find it easy and comfortable to express yourself, especially when you are with your significant other in a place that is supposed to be safe.
Yeah.
You may not be able to express yourself at work. You may not be able to express yourself in your community. You may not be able to express yourself in your church. You may not be able to express yourself with your friends. You may not be able to express yourself even with external relatives.
Yeah.
You know? But when it comes to your significant
Right.
other,
At least you should be able to.
that is the
express it
one
at home.
place you can or you should be able to express yourself freely. But it doesn't negate, nor does it take away from the fact that it is still a concern of many people in many homes and many marriages. That I want to say a few things. I want to do certain things. I want to be a certain way. I want to say certain things, and without having to be judged or to be made to feel like I'm weird or I'm not enough or I'm asking for too much or whatever the case may be. I want to be able to do that without fear.
Yeah,
The
I
question
guess
is
that's
why?
the question. Exactly. I guess that's the question. Like, why is it that way? Because you meet somebody, you create a dynamic and a relationship with the person, and it does get to the point where you should be comfortable with the person enough. I mean, you get comfortable to use the bathroom in front of the person. You get comfortable to take out everything you use.
No makeup.
No, no
Take the mask
makeup.
off.
Take everything off when they're around. So, at what point does it get to a situation or a stop or an issue when it comes to expressing yourself? Like, why does that become a barrier? Why does that come in place in marriages and relationships?
Absolutely. And to be quite honest, before we even go into the possible reasons why, because the reasons are going to be different for everybody, but we're just going to touch up on a few of them for you to begin to like just kind of touch and points here and there, pinpoints like, oh, maybe this is why I'm finding it difficult to express myself. The one thing that I would say is this, right? The question you should ask yourself, or everybody should ask themselves when it comes to why it's difficult to express ourselves in our marriages is, number one, have we always been this way? Have we always, as the marriage, always been a situation where none of us can actually truly, fully express ourselves? Did we start out this way?
Okay.
You know, because then we can kind of pinpoint where the link got disconnected, right? But if is like, you know, like we talked about last time, I love you, but I still struggle in the marriage, right? Is love enough? Essentially, is the question we were trying to ask. But if it's something where, again, I want to be with you, I am with you because, you know, I want to be with you, I am with you, but I'm still struggling to express myself. Then what we've done is we've overlooked a lot of issues before we said I do. We've overlooked a lot of personal childhood.
Like it's been there.
Right, before we said I do. And so now that would help us to know where we're going with this. Like, is this something from way back when? Or is this something that started halfway into the marriage and things like that? Because, for example, let me use this as an example. When I was, you know, when we were dating, I struggled expressing myself. Right? I struggled expressing myself because I had been alone and I had been doing life alone by myself for some time. And so when you came in the picture, your expectation was that I would share with you, I would open up with you, to you, and I would tell you everything that was on my mind. And I wasn't used to that. I was like, no, like, right.
I don't need to share that.
I've been
tell you what I want to tell you, and that's it.
Exactly. And so I bottled in a lot of emotions, a lot of pent up anger, and a lot of like things that we probably should have been talking about, but I wouldn't say anything to you. Number one, because we haven't been doing that. Yeah. Right? You just showed up. This is not our dynamic, at least not yet. Number one. And then number two, it's that idea of you're not going to understand. Right? Like, why should I share with you what I'm going through when you're not necessarily in the same shoe as me? Right. You're not a man, number one. Number two, you're not a bachelor like I am. You're not living alone like I was. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't have the same lifestyle, the same life experiences like I do. And so I don't see where you would really get it or understand. And so what do? I keep quiet. I keep to myself. I don't talk to you. I don't say anything. And then when the issue gets beyond the depth and it comes up to the surface, that's when it becomes our problem.
Issue. Yeah.
That's when it becomes our issue. Yeah. And it is at that point that the problem, or should I say the issue, cannot be ignored anymore.
It's exposed. Yeah.
And now we got to deal with it.
Yeah,
you know? And I feel like, you were wise enough in the dating phase and the courting phase of our relationship to ensure that you dealt with or you addressed
prior to us
moving
on
to the
next. Yeah.
That you addressed these issues like, look, we can't do life together if you're not going to open up to
yourself.
me. Yeah. We can't do life together if you're not going to be able to express yourself to me. I mean, that's just my experience.
Yeah. I mean, I would say from what I've seen and heard a lot too, another reason why people can't express themselves, especially in marriages and relationships, I think I throw it a little bit to the women's court a little bit.
Okay.
When you're in marriages and obviously you have different dynamics in your home. Maybe I shouldn't even just throw it to the women alone. Let me say both genders, right? Both men and women in this situation. Because I have seen both before. Where it's like they are afraid of the reaction or what's going to happen if they do express themselves. And it's not to say, it's two ways. It's either because the other spouse, whether it's the man or the woman, has made it an unsafe place for the person to express themselves. Meaning, if they do express themselves, they have seen the kind of reaction they've gotten from it before.
Okay.
So it's either one of the spouse has created such a space for their significant other,
to not be
or
come to them.
That person has maybe had it in the past and seen a reaction like that, or it's just, sometimes people are I don't want to say
preconceptions.
You can say preconceptions, but before something happens, they're already afraid without it even happening. So they already get in their head and kind of create the scenario in their head. So sometimes that's the case. You don't know how this person is going to react, but you're afraid that maybe he might react or she might react this way if I do say something. So I want to keep it to myself. And honestly, that is a silent killer in a lot of marriages because you then have people that hold on to things and don't speak up and don't talk because they're afraid. Not because they're afraid of their spouse, but because they just don't know what reaction they would get. And sometimes the reaction is scarier than anything. You understand what I'm saying? So sometimes you're put in a situation where it's like, okay, if I say A, B, C, D, are you going to go to 100? Not necessarily about anything like abuse or anything, but it's just sometimes the dynamic of your relationship, there's a way how you drive that relationship. And if you push and you get to a certain point, you're gonna turn, you're gonna move to a different route, and you already know when that is. So the fear of that happening, the fear holds the person back.
The fear of being misunderstood.
Yeah.
The fear of wrong interpretations,
right?
The
of
fear
whatever the situation is or whatever the person is saying.
Wrong reaction to what they're gonna say, and so it becomes our responsibility as spouses to create a safe space for our significant other to be able to come to us and be free to express themselves.
Their safe space now becomes themselves.
Not you.
Not you. Because now they don't know what is going to come of. And it might not be anything bad. It could just be just being able to say, I don't like this, or can I do this? You know, things like that. And it's not necessarily like a bad reflection on the spouse, because there's different levels to this, right? There's 1,000 level where it's like, okay, it could escalate past where it needs to escalate. But there's even on a smaller scale where it's just like, this can lead to a rift. This can lead to a conflict. And you don't want to have that in your marriage. So because you're trying to avoid that, you just say, okay, let me just keep it to myself. And a lot of people go through that in marriages because they just don't know what's to come. So now it's like, you got to figure out what that safe space is within yourself, where it's like, okay, if I do come to you, how are you going to take it?
Yeah. I mean, that makes sense. Makes a lot of sense because, you know, and one of the things that push a lot of people out or away from their spouse is that lack of understanding.
Yeah.
And it's not that, oh, I'm saying something you're not understanding. It's just that, you know, we don't seek to gain understanding.
Right.
And again, seeking to gain understanding may not necessarily mean understanding.
Yeah.
Maybe I should probably explain that more. Just because I'm trying to understand you does not mean I do
understand you.
But I will make the effort to seek understanding. So that way you don't feel like I'm not trying, or you don't feel like you're alone in this thing.
Yeah.
That you're trying to get me to see it and to understand it, but I'm just not. I'm just being standoffish towards it, and I'm not trying to hear it, kind of thing, right? And that could
kind of break some of those, essentially just saying, even just seeking could be enough to create that safe space.
Absolutely.
You might not understand it, but you trying to understand can already make your significant other feel, okay, he might not understand what I'm saying, but at least I can come to her, or I can come to him.
It breaks the wall, you know. And then another thing I would say too, as a possible reason why some people find it hard to express themselves is issues that are not your issue, that you have turned into your issue. And I purposely said it that way because I don't want to necessarily turn it into a generational thing, like what your parents did and how they did their thing is how you believe it should be done in your home and your relationship. It's not necessarily, it doesn't have to be your parents. It could be your friends. Anybody. It could be something you saw on television.
Yeah.
It could be your stereotypical idea about the black man, the black woman, the white man, the white woman, or whatever. Men from the South, men from New York, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like all those stereotypes, men from Africa, men from America, men from Europe. You know, that whole stereotypical preconception that we have about people and situations that gives us our idea of, oh, if I say this, how are they going to take it? If I do that, how will it be received? Kind of thing. And so we are encouraged to look beyond all of that and be ourselves. And it's so important that we be ourselves in the early stages of our relationship in our marriage, so that what you see is what you get.
What you get, yeah.
What you see is what you get, because it is when we begin to turn into somebody else completely. Now, turning into somebody else completely is not the same as developing and transforming and changing and you know what I'm saying, growing. That's not what we're talking about. But if you all of a sudden now say the things that made us is no longer you or what you want, then we're not us anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then I have a decision to make. I have a decision to relearn this new you or to walk away.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so we have a responsibility to our significant other to be ourselves from the beginning. And so sometimes we think that I can't express myself because my mom never was able to express herself with my dad. Or my mom was the macho woman
so
in the house, and my dad never really expressed himself in the house. So we look at that and we say, okay, maybe that's how we should be in our marriage, in our situation.
Yeah, but that's not your dynamic.
And then we say that, oh, well, dad is not really one to express himself, or mom is not really one to express herself, and they've been together 20 years, 30 years, 40 years. So if they can make it work, then I can make it work too. Well, the difference is you're not your mom.
Yeah.
You're not your dad.
Yeah.
And the person you married is not your parents, right? They're not your mom. They're not your dad.
Yeah.
And so they've come from a different background, a different culture, a different understanding of relationship and marriage, and their approach to it is going to be different.
Yeah.
And you got to unlearn whatever you think you know.
Yeah.
And relearn
it. Yeah.
What makes your dynamic with this person work.
Yeah.
It's interesting because when we got together, a lot of times you would make statements that insinuated or makes the assumption that you were looking for what your mom and your dad had, and essentially looking for what your family background looked like, that image of your own family background. Now, if you know anything about us, we have a very different family background and things like that. She comes from a big, we're all family kind of thing. Let's come together. Let's, you know what I'm saying? I actually have a much bigger family than she does, but
it's not the same
dynamic. Right? We're in our own little cocoon. Just my immediate family. Yeah. She's more so not just immediate, she's extended. I mean, it's a whole thing. My extended family, we don't do that, right? It's just this cocoon of a family. But when you look at the bigger picture of the full picture, it's like a whole huge family, right? But we cut ourselves out of all of that so that we can focus only on ourselves. Now, for somebody coming from that background, that home, that kind of upbringing, meeting somebody who's, who has embraced all of that, right? There was a little bit of friction in the beginning. And the expectation was unspoken, but it was implied. It was unspoken on both sides that you would become more like my background and I would become more like your background. And it was a friction for us in the beginning of our relationship because we didn't talk about these expectations, but it was implied. It was implied, And because of the implication of those expectations, we were having problems. Until we stepped back and said, wait a minute now, what are we doing? What are we doing, right? We had to remind ourselves that, okay, look, here's what happens when we come together. You need to I bring a little bit of this.
Exactly.
I bring a little bit of that.
Your own
and
dynamic.
We use that to create a brand new dynamic. To the point that now in our family, we have traditions. And things that we do on a weekly basis, on a daily basis, together as one, as husband and wives, right? But also as a family. With the kids. And that is something we didn't see growing up. Not in my home, not in her home. But it just shows, and this is something we do consistently. It's become such a part of us now that it is now a new tradition. So much so that our kids are probably going to have
the same
expectations of their significant others. And we have to tell them, look, our dynamic is our dynamics. It doesn't mean that it has to be yours. The same for you. You got to create your own dynamic. And so that's when the Bible says the two shall come together and become one because they're going to now form a new thing for themselves. And I know I'm talking a lot, but this is where many homes and marriages miss it. We fail to form a oneness with our significant other. And I say with our significant other because this oneness that we speak of, it's not with your family, extended family, and everybody else. No, it's between you. I mean, it precisely says and your significant other.
Move from the extended family and the family, and you cleave
to your
to your one. So
exactly, and I feel like a lot of times that cleaving is something that we don't usually do. Because there's just something we're holding on to so much from our past life, our past upbringing, that we want to, by all means, drive into this new connection, this new togetherness. And until we learn to say no, this is a brand new canvas, and it is now our responsibility. You've got a brush, I got a brush.
Paint the picture
and
now.
we have to paint a brand new picture. And we have to paint it equitably in a way that is beneficial
to both parties.
Everybody.
Yes.
Amen.
And I wanted to add, a follow-up to that point is another reason why people find it hard to express themselves is because they have this expectation that people can read their mind. And it ties to that point. It ties to that point because a lot of things like that, you could see it generational too. You could see it being picked up from the homes that you grew up in and the backgrounds that you have. And it's such a big thing where it's like you have an expectation, but you don't voice it out. You just expect this person to know what it is you want. And it's crazy because
it's real.
It's not, to be honest, it's not realistic, in my opinion. Because how can you expect somebody that's not you to know what's going on in your mind, to know what it is that you want? You have to be able to express it and communicate it. But there's this thing where it's like, and I can only speak from my background. I can only speak from my background. You trying to start violence today?
Yeah, because you have an expectation of me to be able to read your mind at all times.
It's not only women. It's not only women. Okay. A lot of men also have these issues. But I can only speak from my background and where I'm from and my culture. But for Africans, it's a huge thing where it's like, I'll just give a simple example. Parents saying, I love you. I mean, from now to tomorrow, it might never come out of their mouth, but they expect you to know that that's how they feel. True. You know, but a lot of things you then find, and I feel like the part where they kind of miss it is their generation is so different, like it's vastly different from our generation. And you have a lot of people in our generation that are like, man, sometimes I want to know because the way we're raised is hard to tell. Like you say you do, but golly, the way we're raised, it's like, man, do you really love me? Like that kind of thing. And the truth of the matter is they do. And it is implied a lot. It is very in implied. The way they raise you and the way they shape you into being who you are. It's very much implied. But for their generation, communication is such a huge barrier for them. It's hard to communicate, and that's the truth. But for ours, it's so important. Communication is so important for us. So you have things like that you kind of pick up. Like I had to make the intentional choice. Like I mean, I don't remember throughout my life if my dad, rest his soul, ever said I love you. But I knew there was no doubt in my life, in my mind, because I knew how he felt about me. I knew how he raised me. I mean, he showed it for sure. But I never really heard it until like closer to his like last moments. And I made it an intentional choice also, like, you know what, you never said it and I never said it because you never say it, so I'm just not gonna say anything. But I wanted it to be clear because, and unfortunately it was getting to the point where obviously it was already getting too late because at this point he was sick and it was about to pass. But I wanted to make it a point to let him know, like, listen, I love you. If I've never said it before, I mean, I'm sure I have, but if I've never hammered it before, I want you to know that I love you. I appreciate you. You are like the best father anybody could have. But I want to express that so you hear me more than just for me to show you. You hear me and you know. And for us, it's been so important for us to not carry that into our life, into our family dynamic. I mean, the amount of times I tell my kids I love you is probably it's probably like a little bit extreme, but I want them to, and it's not to say that, you know, we still discipline our kids, but they know there's nothing they doubt in their mind is the love we have for them. And it's not just in showing it, but expressing it. But it's just the idea that if you don't say it, people are expected to know.
Yeah.
It's a big silent killer as well in marriages, because if you don't express what truly the issue is or how you truly feel, it's hard sometimes for people to grasp. Not everybody's able to understand the concept of what's going through your mind. So you need to be able to communicate that to people. Tell me how you feel. I'll tell you how I feel, and then we could take it from there.
Yeah. And I mean, awesome. And I'll just give this one more point and we're going to go. You know, when it comes to your significant other, a few things needs to be made clear. They are your significant other.
Yeah.
And they are your safe space. And I make bold to say they don't get to not be your safe space. They don't get to choose
it's almost like it's no choice.
How you're going to express yourself, and you're going to do it regardless.
Yeah.
And it's funny that I'm saying that. We were watching a movie last night, and in that movie, right, this woman, she's married to a cop.
Yeah.
A police officer, a detective, I think.
Yeah.
And he's always out. He's always on the go. I mean, you know how it is, right? They wake up very early in the morning, they come back very late at night, and things like that. Now, this couple, they live with the man's mother. And once in a while, the mom would interject. She would interfere in their relationship and things like that. But for the most part, she just minds her business, right? So one time, this lady, she's pregnant, and she wants to. At first, she tried to let the husband know that she was pregnant, but he rushed out the house. There was never a good moment to actually let him know that she's pregnant, right? Eventually, he found out that she was pregnant and things like that. And then, as time went on, they found out the gender of the baby, but he didn't because he hadn't been home. Mm-hmm. And so one night he came home very.
He was leaving again. It was in the morning.
No, he came home very distraught.
Oh, right. That's when
something bad had happened, and he had
a long day. He had a long day. I mean, it was justified.
His partner died on the line of fire,
and it could have been him,
and it could have been him, and things like that. So he came home. They had like dinner prepared. They were gonna make the announcement and everything, and he didn't show up, right? And his mom, and the wife sat there on the dining table, and they ate together, and they, waited, and he never came. And then he showed up eventually late at night, walked into the room, very heartbroken, very distraught, about to cry and everything.
Apologized and just wanted to go to bed.
He apologized. He said it's been a long day, and he walked straight upstairs. And the wife looked at him like, hey, we have been here, sitting here, waiting for you. And she started crying. He went straight to the bathroom, started showering. As he's taking a shower, he's crying in the shower. Yeah. The wife looked at the mother and said, what do I do? Right. I can't talk to him. Yeah. I can't do this.
I can't tell him now.
Quote unquote, express myself.
Yeah.
And the grandmother, his mom, got up and said, you are his wife.
Yes.
He does not get to tell you.
No.
He
doesn't get to tell you. He doesn't want to hear it.
He doesn't get to tell you.
He doesn't get to ignore you.
He doesn't get to tell you that he doesn't want to hear it.
Yeah.
He doesn't get to ignore you. He doesn't get to not be your husband.
Yeah.
He doesn't get to not be your
safe space. Exactly.
And so what you're going to do
is going upstairs.
You're going to go on upstairs
and get in
jump in that shower with him.
And tell him what you need to tell him.
And tell him exactly what you got to say.
And she did just that.
And guess what? She went straight upstairs.
Yep.
She didn't take off her clothes. Nope. She jumped in that shower with him.
Yep.
She gave him a hug, gave him a kiss.
Yep.
And told him what she needed to say.
And boom.
And he broke down crying.
And his spirit was lifted.
And he embraced her, and they were good.
Yep.
And I feel like a lot of couples need that.
Yeah.
We need that reminder that grandmother just gave us.
Gave them.
Like, look, you don't get to be this way.
Not to each other.
No. There are times where I would tell my wife, look, you want to give me moods today? No, you don't get to be smooth swing on me. We're going to be happy all day today. We're going to be joyful. Yeah. And she's like, no, I'm not in the mood. Oh, you're in the mood. You are in the mood.
You're going to get in the mood.
Because I'm not going to let that emotion kill the day.
Yeah.
And we all have to be that way.
Yeah.
A lot of times in our marriages, that we're just not going to give room for the nonsense. Yeah. It really is nonsense.
And truly just make each other be each other's safe space. Yeah.
Anything else?
I think that's it. I think we can end it right there.
All right. I hope we've shared a tip or two to help solidify your kingdom union, not only with yourself, very important, but also with others, especially your significant other, and most importantly, with God on today.
Yes. Don't forget to like, share with your friends and your family, hit the subscribe button, and comment down below.
And until next time, be the light,
be the salt,
and remember,
all things are possible if you believe.